chasing a road to glory, driven since I was a child.
If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, work day and night for it.
All right, IGTV, here we go. Here's some interview tips for those of you that are interviewing at jobs. Number one is the more interviews that you have, the better. Be prepared, Google up the top 25 questions, know exactly the specific answers that you're gonna give, the specific examples that you wanna use to highlight your strengths, your weaknesses, your desires, where do you wanna go. Do some research, know ahead of time the company that you're interviewing, know ahead of time maybe the role, do some research if you can of the individual that you'll be interviewing with. You can look them up on LinkedIn to be able to find out more about the organization, about the people that you'll be interviewing with. The next one is it's better to be a half hour early than 1 minute late. So make sure that you give yourself enough time, maneuver around traffic, maneuver around different buses or different public forms of transportation, and then dress the part. So I think a lot of times people, they want to be more casual, but again, it's better to dress in a tie and a suit. If it's business casual, then come in jeans and a t-shirt, and that becomes extremely helpful. Next is be prepared, know some questions that you want to ask the interviewer, and you can write them down if you want to be able to make sure that you have them on the fresh top of your mind. Some great questions would be, what's the training process like? What's the day in the life of? What's the next role after I've mastered this one? How would you describe the culture here at the company? And after you've done those things, you can start having a look at what you can be doing to prepare to have a leave-away, a handwritten note, a deck to be able to show why you're the best candidate. Hopefully that's helpful. Sherm's out. All right, I'm gonna do a video here to show the upcoming podcast. I'm gonna also record it here on Zoom, so that way we have the thoughts. So here is the outline for the upcoming June podcast we want to run. Saw that there's a lot of value in people seeing like a list, a top 3, a top 10, a top 5. So that's what we're going to kind of go from. For the first one is top 3 interview tips. First one is first impressions. It's about timing. It's understanding that your interview starts the moment that you hit the parking lot, the moment that you talk to the first employee at the organization. Then when you come in, you want to make sure it's better to be 30 minutes early than 1 minute too late. Next is making sure that you're groomed. It's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. If it's business casual and you show up in a suit, that's good. If it's business casual and you show up in jeans and a polo, not so good. Some people have a real disliking for jeans. It just depends on kind of who they are. It doesn't hurt to ask the recruiter. At the same time, use your own judgment. Megan and I will ping pong back and forth. Her being female will have a different perspective on women's clothing than I would. Next is to be able to look at your overall grooming, right? Make sure that your hair looks well done. You don't need to go to a shop, in a salon or a barber shop, or the great clips the night before, but make sure you look good, you look presentable. Next one is preparation. It's important to understand that you've done some homework. You looked at the role that you want to do. You looked at the company, who you're interviewing with. You see the opportunity. In today's marketplace, you can probably even look up who you're about to interview with and look up some information about those individuals. You can look about the organization locally and find out about the culture. In preparation as well, it's extremely valuable if you have questions that you've written down ahead of time. That's another powerful way to be able to present your thoughts in a clear and concise way. And then also in your preparation, take the time, Google up top 25 interview questions and write out, practice your responses. It shouldn't be off the fly. Even if you have the greatest ability to speak right off the cuff, it's going to come a lot better off the cuff if you know exactly what you're going to be talking about. So too often people come in and they say, I'm super hardworking, I love what I do, one of my weaknesses is caring too much. We've all heard it. And what we want is specific. So if I ask you a question about when was the last time that you failed, I want you to think of a specific time. Client came in, they were irate, that you had sold them the wrong thing, they were screaming and hollering at you. You got them to calm down, come into your office. By the end of it, they bought more. That's what I want to hear, is a specific example. So that way I kind of can know where to go from that. Last one is follow-up. This one is thorough.
write a handwritten thank you note. Very few things go in the post these days unless it's being shipped for like Amazon or shopping. So getting a handwritten note is powerful. An email, I'd say, is a nice thought, but again, a handwritten thank you note is even more powerful, to be even more memorable, especially when you're going up other people for that one position. The next one is, I think it's very powerful to bring a leave behind. Something that talks about you. It could be a DISC assessment. It could be your 16 personalities when it comes to your career. It can be your Strength Fighter 2.0, your top 5 qualities printed out. It could be a professional photo and up, and make sure that your professional photo shoulder and up matches your LinkedIn, so that way you have a uniform brand, you have a uniform reputation. And too often it's not about personal branding in the marketplace as much as it's about carrying the message of who you are to the marketplace. So your LinkedIn, your business Facebook page, your business Twitter, it should all speak the exact same message, and it should have the same person in front of it. So I don't want you in workout clothes in your LinkedIn, but then a professional photo on your Facebook. It's disjointed. Lastly, in the follow-up, at the end of the conversation, it's always great to ask, so what is the next step in this process? In this interview process, now that we've completed this first interview, thank you again for your time. What is the next step? When should I be anticipating to hear from you? And it is not a problem to call back a week goes by. Hey, Angela, I want to just keep in touch with you. Know we had a great interview last week. Really enjoyed meeting with you. Wanted to make sure you got my thank you note. Looking forward to the next interview. Keeping moving forward in that process. It shows that you have perseverance, persistency, you have passion, you want to work there, and it shows that you're professional. Next podcast, that's one with a little bit more detail. We're going to talk about the gig economy, having a side hustle while you also have a full-time gig. Then we're talking about work-life balance, which truly is work-life flexibility. And the last one in June, entrepreneurship. So we already have lined up the next 4 podcasts for the Asian sensation. Sherm's out. All right, everybody, here it is, Thursday. It's about 5:45. Last person here in the office. Now, it doesn't happen every day. I wasn't the first person here. My son had a recognition for his school, so I wanted to make sure that I took the time to be able to recognize him. So that was really a lot of fun. Then took him and his brother out for lunch because his brother was recognized last night. And so I just wanted to be able to just walk around the office, just recap the day. Thought I'd be able to just show you just a little bit about just show you where I work. And so in coming into the office, after that, I was a little bit delayed. Came in, met with the recruiter, just looking at the pipeline. Who do we need to reach out to and make sure they stay through process. Interviewing is a full contact sport. So we're contacting them as much and as quickly as possible to be able to make sure that we're helping them along in the process to get to where they need to go. In the interim, I was making phone calls, sending out texts to agents. When I was driving down, had a couple of phone calls to the agents and part of my team. And then after I got my emails done, and after I met with the recruiter, came and talked to the agents. How's it going? And then had a phone call with someone that no longer is in the process, but I asked her, kind of what is she looking to do? And she wanted to stay in this in a particular industry. And I said, hey, why don't I reach out to you? So while she's on the phone, I set up 2 emails. And then so once she was done, I finished writing out those emails and CC'd her on them, made the introduction to 2 people in my contact world, and she was just tickled pink about that. So in my mind, it's from a recruiting perspective, you're either going to find a house here and you're going to love it, you're going to be a part of our team, or I can help you get to where you want to go. And I have no problems playing that role, playing that connector. Remember, my 5 strengths are connector, includer, win others over, positivity, and strategic. Not in any particular order. And so for me, I enjoy making those connections. I enjoy being able to help someone get to where they want to go. Not everybody's wired the same way, but I find that even if you're not wired that way, it can be extremely beneficial to think of it, how can I help you? Not so much what can I get from you, how can I help you? How can I be of value? Where is my value to you as we go about this process? So hopefully that's helpful to you. And so then we'll finish off here, head on home. Let's go. All right.
This is what I look like when I go getting some snacks at Walmart. That's what it looks like. Not pretty.
They keep stopping me from going where I'm supposed to go. I don't know, it's like every single time, bitch, you running through my mind. I be locked and loaded, nobody safe around me.